Taurus, welcome to your Astro Reels. It's my pleasure to read for you. You know this. This is just how we roll on this channel. I also want to remind you that you don't have to have any specific or significant Taurian placements to have these messages be for you, and you don't have to be watching at the time that this message is being put out for it to be for you. If it is for you, then hey, chances are it's for you. That being said, if you'd like to work more closely with me, you know exactly where to find me. And right now in particular, we're going through so much detox. And if you've been checking in with the channel recently, then you will notice that this month, our spirit teams are really teaching us about the importance of understanding that we are sovereign beings. And not only are we sovereign beings, but that carries a certain level of awareness and a certain sense of responsibility that we have to really look at and then really follow through and understand how that changes the way that we see the world, the way that we move in the world, the way that we interpret what is happening in our life. And understanding your sovereignty means understanding your agency, that on some level of the field, you are in control. And that's why our spirit teams see us differently from how we see ourselves and how society sees ourselves. And it's more of that higher level perspective that's at play when we stand before, our life review and whatnot, and we judge ourselves, right? And we receive guidance from our teachers. We feel things differently at that level. We understand things differently. Why? Because our understanding expands. So while we're down here, you may not readily understand how it is that you on some level of the field are manifesting the very reality that you live each day in your experiences as you experience it through your body and through your friends and all of this. But that's okay. It doesn't mean it's not the case. It just means you're not there. And something as simple as pain, as our socio-cultural conditioning, our denial, or all sorts of stuff will block us from being able to understand that. And so here we are in yet another lifetime working towards arriving back at what? Our agency, our sovereignty, and just our divinity in general. So that's what's going on right now, and the guides have been talking about that, and they have been talking about the importance of working with a clean energetic field. So do your best to move your energy. And again, that's what we do on this channel, so I'll always be here for you, but please don't make any mistake to think that you can only get this healing done with me, or that you can only get the healings that you need done with somebody who's going to charge you for it, or someone who has certain letters after their name or whatever. If spirit needs to get to you on a side of a bus, they will get to you. Always know that. Always know that. But there's a reason why they send us to people, right? Certain people. But it's your job still to have the discernment. And so, long story short, take the time now to look left and right, up, down, in, out. Just close your eyes and ask for your higher self, which is the higher aspect of you, to assist you in navigating yourself on this earthly plane with all of its craziness and base ideologies, to navigate yourself back to your sovereignty, your empowerment, your everything. And understand that process will always be a loving one. If you're going towards people and services and all of that are unloving, that are harsh, that are caustic, that are telling you like it is and hard push love and blah, 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 understand that those are vehicles that you have magnetized and brought into your life. Why? Because on some level of your field, you have a belief. It's a core belief that you have to be punished or treated that way. So when you start to clear that up, the more you start to clear that up and love yourself back into alignment, you no longer gravitate towards people, places, things, situations, and ideas that are going to treat you like shit. You just have to understand that. So if you're in romantic relationships, best friend relationships, familial relationships, co-worker relationships, all of this with energies that are harsh and caustic, that don't care about you, that breadcrumb you, that gaslight you, that cheat you, that all sorts of stuff, it is not because God hates you. It is because they are reflecting back to you a belief that you may most likely be unconscious of, but a belief that you deserve that. So it always will come back down to an unworthiness wound, fueled by the original mistaken perception that you are separate from God, that you've been kicked out of heaven, that you've been divorced, that you've been whatever, and or that you've, long story short, come up before your creator, whatever that is. We can go back and forth trying to use language to explain something that exists beyond language, right? But for the sake of this discussion, you have this core belief that you've been brought up against, or before rather, your creator, and you've been found wanting. And therein is the original wound. It's an abandonment wound, okay? So lifetimes are lived to get back to a visceral understanding of that. So please understand that just because you cannot make the connection at this level does not mean it's not the case. We work towards understanding. We seek to understand. But along the way, we sometimes just cannot resist the call of certain people. People who look cool and this and that will continue to look that way until you wake up one day and realize, oh, they're just detached. They're out of their heart space. They're in their wounds, and so they feel that they have to be in their ego and their dominance to best some argument or aggression or war that they're having within themselves. And so they see enemies everywhere, and they see people who are jealous of them everywhere. They see these are people who are in the middle of their wounds. We all are in the middle of our wounds, but start to be able to understand that, and then start to understand that everybody on this planet is just a human. It doesn't matter what cloth you wear, what your social distinctions are, how much money you make, whether you're going to be visiting Mars anytime soon. All of that, get rid of it. It's not important, okay? It's the heart. And the heart where? Inside of you. You go inside, you change your frequency, 7 minutes, 7 seconds, and then what? You change what's going on outside. Literally, you will feel the very items in your room, physically and non-physically, disappear. You might even pop, like your body might be like, whoa. Because when you hit that aha moment, it's a moment of realization, and all of a sudden, if you can really be sensitive to it, you'll even perceive of things just, boom, disappear. And you'll swear, wow, this was just here, but it's no longer there. Like, I'm seeing this, but it doesn't make sense. And then eventually, maybe one day it'll come back and it's literally gone. Whether it's because someone saw it and was like, oh, I'm going to take that, or this is cool, or they move it, or just whatever. Form follows energy. So, Taurus, let's talk about you. This is everybody. But you can understand the fixedness, and I say this as a Taurus moon, boonk, the fixedness of your beliefs. A lot of people say if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for everything. That's erroneous thinking in a sense. It's partially correct, because if you're too malleable and you're not caring for self and whatnot, the motivations aren't there, the wisdom isn't there, of course, anyone will hijack you. And people all over look left and right, hijack. You can probably look in the mirror and see you've been hijacked with certain energies that you can't perceive of because your third eye is closed, right? Or you can perceive of it, but you keep going to it because your heart is offline, so you can't discern the quality of what's standing before you. And now you're with a horrible friend or ex who still keeps coming back in, but you can't see it, right? You see what I mean? So people think that if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for everything. But they also fail to realize that those who are too rigid, too strong, are very easy. And a man who's on, we're going to use a man. Women are players too. We know that, right? But let's just use a guy, for example. A guy who's out on the prowl, who's just looking for notches, he will understand that the woman who has the principles and the standards could be even easier to break than the woman who seems to have no standard. Why? Because all you need to do is get into her mind, and then she'll be strong about you. She'll be so strong for you and what you're doing to her that she's gonna want to marry you. She's gonna want to keep you around, and no one can talk her out of getting rid of you. So you see, whether you're too rigid over here or too malleable over here, it always falls to you to have discernment. and as the guides say, to have ideological flexibility, where you commit to somewhere or some ideology or path where you are, but you don't box yourself in energetically to become bigoted in that belief, to become so sure that it's real, right? Even the stuff that you hear me sharing with you is reflective of where I am along this journey. And so you take what resonates, and if something doesn't resonate, you give it up to the divine, ask for assistance in understanding what has been placed up before you, and keep moving on with your life. The energies will be inspired within you, right? You'll just look up one day and be like, oh, that makes sense. So if this message is here for you, remember, now is the time to really, really pay attention to your energy field. This month, it's a theme. It's a major theme. And if you follow this channel and you resonate with the messages that are coming through, then you must also understand that it has been told to me by my guides, and it seems to be the case with every reading I do, paid and pro bono, that the people I work with have some type of soul contract, 11 minutes, 11 seconds, to be of service to others. So there's some form of leadership and mastery within your field, energy field, that you have contracted to use in order to assist others in their soul's journey. And so it makes sense that for you have to come, and if you're working in alignment with the highest, or the divine, which is the intention I set personally, and the intention I really try to follow for myself, then what Spirit, just to summarize, has been asking us to do is to detox, purify, deprogram from what? Lower level interference. We need you to be in the right frame of mind, frame of heart, and frame of intention. And they commonly refer to it as divine heart, divine mind, divine will. When you have a divine will, it's basically you setting the intention to co-create with Spirit. When you co-create with the highest and purest of divinity, and that's your prayer, you allow Spirit to enter into your life by your decree, by your free will, to assist you in letting divine energy flow through. And when you do that, the first thing they're going to do is head over to that heart. So a lot of heart healing. You may have life events, life events that may cause your heart to break open, maybe. I think it was David Kessler who says a broken heart is an open heart. I mean, whatever it is, right? To have a change of heart. And what's actually happening is that you're decalcifying your heart, so to speak, right? And you're starting to activate it. It's starting to raise to the level of divine frequency, which allows you to have the awareness and the discernment to discern what? Quality in energies that come to you. And whether in the physical or non-physical. And of course, that heart, the divine heart, becomes the generator. It pulls in all of this divine frequency, and that generator goes all the way throughout your energy field and informs. Did you hear the word? Informs the way that you see your world. Yes, if you have your pineal gland, we hear about decalcifying it, this and that, strengthening, third eye, blah, blah, blah. You have to do that in order to see into the non-physical, of course, beyond the physical. But you can look at something and still not be able to ascertain the quality of it. We do it all the day, all the time. Our best healers, boom, we'll still choose shitty relationships. Why? Because we're working on the heart space, right? We're trying. We're out here. Everybody's out here. But I know personally, if I'm trying to get to that divine level, which is what I set for myself, and I'm still trying to explore what that is, I know that I need assistance from something higher than myself, my higher self, to come in and to condition my field, open my heart, raise the consciousness of my third eye, so that I can be in the right frame of mind, heart, and intention to be of true service on this planet. Because as the guides have been saying for all of us, it's no longer enough to just show up and act. We're looking for quality. We're looking for quality. So today, Spirit is acknowledging any places in your life where you're experiencing stagnation. And this is a retrograde, so people, places, things, situations, ideas are popping right back up. Take a look at it. How does it make you feel? Ask Spirit to come through and assist you in moving forward in your life. God bless you. Okay?